Hey, welcome back to the Breacher's Room. Today we're going to be talking about my duty belt setup and why I have it the way I do. Stick around to find out more. All right, so duty belts, definitely a core piece of equipment for anybody in law enforcement. Big caveat to this is going to be that there's many ways to set these up. A lot of it's going to depend upon personal preference, people's body types, and your job assignment ultimately. So this is a way of doing it. It's not the way of doing it. What you do in your job is really going to dictate what you need on your duty belt along with what you think is most important. So this is how I have mine set up as a SWAT guy, how my belt was set up 3 years ago when I first started versus now. It's obviously evolved over time as I've changed roles on the team and gained experience. But some core things that are always there are going to be my holster and my pistol and some magazines for my gun. But without further ado, we'll dive right into the belt itself. So the belt at its core, this is going to be the 511 Maverick Molle belt. In the past, I've used the Blue Alpha Gear Molle belt, and I've even, when I was on patrol, used that 2¼ inch Bianchi nylon belt. So reason why I'm using this one right now is because I was able to get it on a uniform purchase order. So I didn't have to spend my own money on it, so I figured I'd try it. Whether you like 511 or not, overall, this is an okay belt. There's plenty of other good brands out here. My Blue Alpha Gear belt was fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it, but I wanted to try something different. The Velcro is wearing a little bit on that belt, so I wanted to get something new. So been using this belt for 1.5 years, and it's okay. It's nothing to really write home about. But that's the base belt in and of itself. So working our way, which would be my right side, in the front of my belt, I have a handcuff pouch. This is a Kydex pouch that I got off of Amazon. I think it's HSGI. I could be mistaken. My one big gripe with this is the bungees for this. So they just wear out. I've already had to replace this once. So this green bungee isn't the original bungee that was on this pouch. So I am in the market for looking for a new pouch. So if you guys have any recommendations, leave a comment down below so I can go check something out. So moving away from my handcuff pouch is going to be my holster for my duty pistol. I am issued a Stacatto P from my unit, and that's just in a standard Safariland holster. How I attach that holster to my belt, it's going to be this is going to be the Guardian Warrior Solutions bang hanger. I really like it because it lays flat on your body. It doesn't create any hot spots or pressure points, whether you're sitting down or standing up for long periods of times. In between there is going to be the Safariland QLS system, so I can remove the holster and swap it out for a Glock holster when I'm using a sim pistol for training. In between that is going to be a centrifuge negative cant plate, and what that does is that's going to add some negative cant to the holster and makes drawing a little bit more natural. A lot of Safariland holsters are going to be canted forward, and their thought process with that is to make drawing out of your vehicle easier if you're sitting down. God forbid you get ambushed in your vehicle. But I would say that gear isn't going to be a solution to that. Common sense and good police practices are going to be what's preventing you from getting ambushed in your vehicle while you're just sitting in there. So negative cant plate also has a equipment plate on there. So I just have a tourniquet holder on there so I can carry a tourniquet on my belt that I can reach with my left or my right hand. For a leg strap / pad, this is a knockoff of the Shaw Concepts leg strap. Has a elastic bungee here. Relatively cheap. I figured I'd give it a shot and try it out. I used to be a super gear purist and only buy name brand stuff, but over time I kind of started getting tired of paying what they were wanting for ultimately what's a piece of nylon. So I wanted to try this out. Not knocking off Shaw Concepts by any means. I just wanted to try this out. So my only gripe though is going to be this elastic. It's a little almost too bungee, and I'm guessing within 6 months to a year, this is going to be worn out and I'm going to have to replace it. So, but overall, so far, no issues with that. I keep the back side of my belt clear, especially when we're sitting inside of a vehicle for long periods of times. I don't want anything there. It's going to cause any sort of undue pressure. I never really ran with anything on the back of my belt to begin with. Even when I was on patrol, you don't want to put very hard things on the small of your back. God forbid you get pushed on to your back and you fall on your ass. So it just helps you avoid injury. Moving to this side of the belt, which is going to be closer towards my left side. Kind of the meat and potatoes, everything. So this is going to be a Maxpedition dump pouch. And I keep two things in here on the regular. One of them is going to be, is called a wedget. And I use this to wedge doors open. You can hang them on hinges or set them on the top of the door or under as like a door wedge. It helps keep doors that have automatic closers or spring-loaded hinges open. So that way you don't have to use your foot or anything like that to keep the door open. Another thing that I have in this dump pouch that I keep with me, this is going to be one of those laser rulers. And what it does is you just push the button, laser casts onto a surface, and it gives you a measurement for how far away that is. This is super useful for being a explosive breacher. Is if you have the time and the opportunity to, you can measure how far away you are from your target. So that way you're standing at the proper minimum safe distance for getting exposed to overpressure for explosive charges. Also doubles as a pointer if I needed to point at something, but I do have a full power Molle on my duty rifle. So most of the time I just use that as a pointer if I need to communicate something to my teammates. So super handy, nice and small. I can measure out to 50 feet with this thing. So, and it was only $40, so I can't complain. And then this cover is just something that I modeled and 3D printed myself just to protect the screen and the button from any sort of inadvertent activations while it's in the pouch. So aside from that, pouch is relatively small. I can hold 3 rifle magazines in here easily. So it just is helpful for training days. I'm just trying to put just random tidbits in there. I intentionally kept it small because I didn't want to have something that was so large and so bulky. Now I'm putting larger and larger stuff there. And then ultimately when I don't want to use it, I can always just fold this out of the way and fold it tight and it gets small. So these last Maxpedition's been around for a very long time. So I've only had to replace this pouch once, and that was because I got it caught on the door latch in a Bearcat and it almost ripped off my belt. So that was my fault more than anything. So this pouch right here is a knockoff of the Spiritus JTSA pouch. Definitely something that I was more than willing to try off of Amazon. I think it was maybe $15 compared to the full price of the pouches, which I think it's like $80. Really nice pouch, very good concept for what it does. I really like it because it's a multi-purpose thing. So talking about the backside, so I have a rifle magazine reload. This is kind of like my oh crap emergency reload that's in a elastic there. Also comes with a pistol elastic, and I keep a aluminum wedge there for breaching, for manual breaching. So if you have a Halligan and a wedge, you can pretty much get through a majority of the doors that you're going to come across, especially if you're breaching by yourself or you don't have somebody with a sledge or a ram. So super helpful kit there. I want to keep it on my belt because I don't always grab the Halligan out of my truck. Sometimes we grab Halligans out of the armor that we're doing ops with. So I don't keep it with the Halligan itself. The internal portion of this pouch. So I am one of the explosive breachers on the team, and I keep a loadout of explosive charges on there and some support equipment for that. So I have a pair of cutters in here for that. Piece of soft armor. It's unit SOP. We have to have some sort of armor between our explosive pouches, our explosive charges, and our body. So I have a piece of soft armor in there. I keep a extra piece of adhesive in there if I need additional adhesive for charges in case it comes off. And then I have a charge cheat sheet in there that I will not show you guys because that is specific to my unit. When I'm not doing explosive breaching, this pouch is super helpful because I can put other stuff in there. So if we're doing desert tracks and, you know, the likelihood of doing a sort of explosive breaching is 0 to none, I can transition and put other items in there like smoke canisters for marking and obscuring our position in case we took fire from suspect and we needed to maneuver on them. We can deploy smokes to try to obscure our movement. So this pouch can hold a max smoke and a safe smoke if you're familiar with DefTech chemical agents. So that fits in there, just to give you an idea of the size of the pouch in and of itself. Alternatively, we can put chemical agents like aerosol vapors as well. You can put pocket smokes in there if you need to. If you're working large venue security, like in a QRF type role, you can use this as a medical pouch. So it's large enough that we can put some chest seals in here, and we can put Israeli bandages and additional tourniquets in here as well. So I like this pouch a lot because I can change the contents that I put in here based upon the mission that I'm doing. I'm not hindered by only being able to carry one thing with this. So been super helpful pouch overall. And if ultimately I don't need to carry anything in here, it just stays flat when I don't need it. So that's this knockoff JTSA pouch like that. The last thing that I do have in my belt is going to be just some Esstac Kiwis to hold my pistol magazines. Esstac's a good company for pistol mags. I've never lost a magazine during a foot pursuit with Esstac Kiwis on. In general, I do like this belt setup overall. What was key for me was like attachment systems for pouches and accessories. So I've used these almost exclusively for a majority of my law enforcement career. And then when I got the bang hanger for my holster, they also had these Molle straps, which I think this is called the Adapt Short. So I bought a couple of these, and these are super nice because it keeps the pouches where they are in the Molle, and it doesn't extend further past, so I'm not getting any sort of pressure points on my legs when I'm sitting down. So this is super nice. It keeps everything nice and tight, close to the belt, and it's super secure. So this is like a Tigris or a curve material. So pretty common materials being used nowadays. So that's my belt setup in general. If you guys have any questions about it, leave a comment down below the video, and hope you guys have a good day. And thanks for stopping by the Breaches Room.